Okay, so let's get this started. I'm going to be reviewing the SRC Aks74un or the Krinkov, or whatever you want to call it. Now, this gun is made by SRC. It is a gas gun, gas blowback, which means I have to use these magazines that are filled with gas and have a limited amount of BBs that I can put in it for realism for my Milsim. So this SRC AK I got it off of a bidding website. It was about $100 plus tax. It was like 130-ish, which is a very good deal because you could buy these off of eBay for around, I believe, $300 or $250. It's around that price. This one was used. This is not the original mag. I bought like 5 of them or 3 of them, or I forgot how many I bought, but this is the only one I have at the moment. Yeah, this is I would want to say proprietary system because I don't know any other magazine that would fit in this SRC gas blowback AK. So main gripes with this gun is, like I said, it's not modifiable in any shape or form. The gas system, it shoots really hot. I'm talking like 460, 500 almost. And I did find a way to mitigate the FPS, but it was super janky, and I would not recommend anyone doing it unless you're like you've been teching for some time. The magazines on these are, I believe, the newer gen, which have these metal lips here. The older ones did not have metal; they actually had plastic, and that was one of their main issues with the magazines, that they would break at the lip. So anytime you would, like, I guess you'd AK reload or whatever, these things would like come off. Since they're metal, they're a little bit more durable, I would say. I mean, you can see it here. The paint is coming off slightly, and the feeding lips also, they're okay. Like, just like any other gas pullback magazine, it's just you have to find the right speed loader and the right fitting for it to feed properly. This fits, I believe, 45 rounds, but I only put like around 30. Well, I don't know that for sure, but it sure feels like 30 rounds. The gasket is pretty meh. Uh, I don't think you can change this out into any other gasket or whatever. The back of the magazine is not like a regular magazine. It's kind of like angled here because it's not full here. I guess that's because the firing mechanism is more forward than a rate. It's not vertical, or I guess you said horizontal against the AK, the body. I mean, this I've only ran this SRC AK for around a couple weeks. It's okay. Magazine size also, obviously, it's one of the downsides of playing a gas blowback. But like, if you're using a gas blowback, make your shots count or something. Yeah. Made out of plastic. I mean, obviously, it's metal on the end. The cap is metal. The internal of this is metal as well. I'm not sure. I don't think it's steel. I think it's aluminum. But it's just I'd say mediocre strength aluminum. All right, here. Now, one of the good things actually about an SRC gas blowback AK is the way that they put it together is very reminiscent, or it actually is 1-to-1 to a VFC Spec AK, and what I mean by that is this is the body pin on which this goes in here to secure the front part and the body. Now, I took it off for the sake of the video because I'm not going to be doing that. So, I will show you what I mean. So, obviously that. And just like a VFC AK, you can literally pop that pin out and pull it apart as you would. And now you have two pieces. This is the front assembly. This is the handguard assembly and the barrel. And the dust cover. I mean, usually a regular AK doesn't have a dust cover attached like this. So this is one of the U variants. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Oh, another issue I had with this is the upper handguard. The gas tube gets caught on the bolts. So what I did was I just kind of mishmashed a regular AK upper poly handguard on this, and it works okay because there's nothing guiding the bolt. I mean, which isn't necessary for a airsoft gun to do. There's no gas coming back from the gas block coming in to push back the bolt. It's just airsoft. This does come with 14 millimeter negative threads. I put a suppressor on because I have a long ass inner barrel. Let's see here. As you can see here, it does have the regular airsoft 14 millimeter negative threading for any suppressors or muzzle brakes and whatever. I lost the the locking pin for the muzzle for Russian muzzle brakes on this. I don't have this anymore. I lost it. I don't know where it is. Other than that, I mean, it's decently solid, I'd say. It shakes a little bit, but I really don't mind shaking if you're that person. I do have the lower handguard here. Some people would argue that this is absolutely horrid and disgusting, which I really like that. If they don't think it's good, then it's good to me. This is basically a wooden handguard that I got with the gun, and I did not want to shell out the money for a for a handguard like a was like a B11 Zenitco for this. I didn't want to shell out the money because I thought it was dumb and stupid. All I did was get the wood, and I found some rails from like a G36 or whatever, and I put screws in it. Now I have a rail on this thing. I put a large ass foregrip the size of my hand, and I think it looks decent, to say the most. Front assembly. Now I'll go into the lower receiver part, which is actually incredibly interesting. So this is the lower receiver here. This is the main part. This is the main body. I'm going to take out the bolt. So the body here is a VFC Spec AK. Reason I can tell, or I know this, is because let's see if we get that the hole there. Now all VFC Spec AKs have this hole. I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, so I believe on real AKs they do have this hole where you're able to hold your barrel in place with it. I don't know if it's easy. I'm pretty sure it's not easy to pop it out like I do on airsoft guns. But for airsoft, it's mighty convenient, I tell you that, because that means I can just disassemble this gun fairly easy. Like this barrel here is not a stock barrel. It is actually an AEG spec barrel, which I will take out really quick. Let's see. This takes a little while. There we go. So yeah, this is an AEG spec barrel. This is a Poseidon, I believe. Type bore barrel Poseidon 6.05 millimeter. It's I guess you could technically it'd be a wide bore barrel, sorta, kinda, not really. It's still within the realm of its still tighter than a stock 6.08 millimeter barrel, or that would be the standard. But yeah, this is the Poseidon one, which is actually very funny. It does have let me see if I can pull up like a a flashlight real quick. Um, I don't know if you can see. This is my flashlight on my phone. If the bottom part, let's see this. That bottom part right there is actually a little, I would say, I would dare say it's like not threading, rifling, sorta, not really. It's supposed to be an air cushion effect or whatever that might be, but I just don't see it working. Which is kind of a weird thing to put on an AG or an airsoft gun in general. I don't think airsoft guns need rifling in any sense or form. But besides the point, yeah. So this is an AG spec barrel. I do believe it does take regular buckings, if I'm not mistaken, and nubs as well. Although I do not want to take it out right now because I don't have my tools on hand. But I sure guarantee you this is an AEG spec barrel, maybe bucking. I don't know. If not, use the stock bucking, unfortunately, or modify it to have an R hop. I would do that if that's like if you want to have like maximum performance. Just shave the nub inside the regular or the stock bucking. You R hop that bitch. You know, that's an option. I'm not saying that's the perfect option, but that is an option. All right, and then moving to the bolts, I'm going to do the bolts. This is the bolt. It's a shorter variant of the regular AK bolts. The regular AK bolt's about yay bigger, a little bit bigger. It's I believe it is 2 pieces only. See, there's some threading. Oh no, it's 3 pieces. My bad. So we have the actual piston part itself, the longer, whatever you want to call this, a shaft, we'll call it shaft, and the bolt carrier itself. And I did break this multiple times, and if I were to break it once more, I'd be screwed entirely. I do not know where I would get replacement nozzles or basically anything. I would have to do. I would have to make 3D print by myself and redo this whole process of me having to make this gun fieldable. In the back here, you guys don't see it probably because my lighting's shit. But there's supposed to be a bar right here. I do not have that bar because I lost it during a game. It still functions, but not as well as I'd like to. But this bar goes basically. This holds a nozzle spring, a returning nozzle spring that makes this launch backwards, and it has like a little hook within it. I don't have that at the moment. I'm just gonna find some regular old M4 WeTech M4 return nozzle spring, attach it on here, make a freaking like a I don't know like a paper clip bar or whatever, put it there or secure it. I'm not sure how to do that yet. But yeah, it's in the works. So yeah, when I was talking about making this fieldable, I actually had to do some amounts of work on the nozzle itself. What I mean by that was I had to shimmy ya a freaking end pass impasse valve into the nozzle. And the stock nozzle, what I did, I don't have it on hand, but I had drilled a hole in the middle of the valve, and I had put a grub screw, so it would mitigate how much air was flowing through and shooting out. That was unsuccessful due to it being made out of plastic. It wasn't doing the thing that I wanted to do properly, unfortunately. But in the end, I referenced the stock valve onto some other impasse systems like the WeTech one. I believe there was a like a walk type deal. I don't remember, but it was all from Evike, and matched it up with this WeTech one. This WeTech one fit. It was an RA Tech impasse for a WeTech gun. So, being me, I disassembled the nozzle, and there's an actual bar that goes through the nozzle, stopping the valve from popping out because there is a spring that is loaded in here. I forgot to mention that too. There's a spring loaded in this section of the nozzle. So I was like, okay, well I could just slap it in. Do 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 do. I got impasse now. Well, that's pretty much exactly what happened. I got impasse after I slapped it in. So this, I'm not saying it's 100% compatible with Wii parts. I'm not saying that, but if you can fit it in, you can fit it in, right? I mean, it's just modifying stuff. Um, yeah. So I do have a impasse system in here. The Basically, I just shove a key tool in here and just twist that bitch. I got Last time I chronoed this was shooting at, I believe it was shooting at 250 to 300 FPS. And this was with the impasse all the way on, I believe. Yeah, or where, well, however, I was trying to let my airflow go in. But yeah, I got it to like 250 FPS, 300 FPS. It was not consistent, I will tell you that, due to it not being a, like, I guess you could say, one piece part. Like if this whole nozzle was the impasse and this was, I guess you could say, machined in or something like that. It does have incredible inconsistencies. That is a very, very, very bad, I don't know, very bad system, I guess you could say. But it's not the gun's fault per se. It's just, well, it is the gun's fault actually, because it doesn't take any like modified parts. It's basically proprietary if you didn't know what you were doing. But me being me, I'm sort of a tech. I like to mess with stuff. So yeah, this is the bolt carrier. Oh, and I did drill this part because I lost the screw to this. Um, and then I found the screw again, and I attached it back. So yeah, it does not. It's not supposed to look like that. Oh yeah, and one thing to mention: this is made out of really shitty aluminum, or not even aluminum. This is pot metal. This is straight up pot metal. Uh, yeah, so just be careful if you're trying to modify these. Don't put like a charging handle on this thing. I would not do that at all. If you're trying to mod an SRC AK, do not do it. Do not try to make it fancy or whatever. Just make it usable. As I would say. I would say that, yeah. Make it usable, not fancy. Because in the end of the day, if you have a fancy gun and it doesn't work, what's the point of having a fancy gun? If you have a gun that works and it's not so fancy, but you still can have fun. Yeah, it's still fun. Right, now to the body. Now this body, not the greatest in the world. Main reason being is that I this is not like a one-to-one spec of a real AK, unfortunately. The dimensions are a little off. For example, the grip, it cannot take any other grip except for its own. This is a Magpul. I think it's a SL. It's a Magpul AK SL grip. I had to modify the insides of it to even fit it. And even now, it's not very. It's like very. It's not very secure. And then the trigger guard, see here, it's bent out of place. It's not aligned correctly because it's not. It's this grip. No, the body itself is not. It does not properly take, real steel grips or gas pullback grips. It's very odd to explain, but yeah, that's pretty much one of the reasons why it's not very good. The body made out of metal, of course. I don't think this is made out of any type of steel. Maybe aluminum. Um, I have not had any rust on this gun at all. The internals of this gun seem to be in okay condition, seeing as this gun is like, I want to say at least 4 years old when I got it off the bidding website. Most of the parts, actually, no, not most of the parts. Some of the parts look like they're made of steel. Some parts look like they're made out of aluminum or pot metal. I have yet to try which one is which, but I'm heavily guessing on the firing pin being steel, due to the way it looks and like how it feels. So that's okay. Um, the stock is actually mostly compatible. I've tried it with different stocks. Tried it with a full folding stock, which is the AK74MN version, the M stock, which is like the full one. It's not a skeleton stock. It's the full one that folds and has the button on the end. This fits it. As for other stock attachments, I have not tried anything. I haven't tried a buffer tube yet, which I do want to try. Any of the Zenico PT stocks I have not tried either. I know those are popular with uh, milsimmers and people who like AKs in general. Um, but yeah, this is not a SRC stock actually. This is an actual VFC AK stock that I took off of my own VFC AK. I slapped on a different stock on that one. So I just had this one lying around. It does fit. Um it's loose, but a good loose. Like you can maneuver it as it was to be. And yeah, my pin doesn't work properly either because it's not in place. Let's see. Yeah. The button is very, you know, buttony. Let's see if it folds on me. There we go. So it does fold. It's secure. I don't know if you can't obviously see that, but yes, the stock is secure. It folds properly. Uh, yeah. The fire. I messed up the fire selector. I cut a piece here thinking it was cool. Actually, I'm very stupid for doing this. So yeah, don't do what I did. But it works. I got auto save, da 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 da, semi, shit like that. The trigger, I forgot to mention this. The trigger on this gun is very it looks like an AK trigger, but it's beefy as hell. Like, look at these dimensions. Like, you see this? Look at that. This is a screwdriver. I don't think that I have a GHK AK, and this does not look like that. It's beefy as hell. That's what I'm gonna say. What else is there to say about this? I mean, other than like kids or people want to get into the gas blowback gang, this is definitely not the gun to do that. There are no good gas AKs speaking because GHK AKs would be the best because their gas efficiency is really good. But like then again, if I was talking in terms of M4s, I know which is kind of weird. I'm not. Yeah. If I was talking M4s, the Viper Tech exists, which would be the king of all gas blowback guns. Unfortunately, there is no good AK gas blowback. If there was, I probably wouldn't have bought this gun. GHK is probably the best bet though in terms of customizability, parts, upgrades, such and such. My GHK